Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's me, Crazyfrankie, and I'd like to welcome you to my Week 18 Special Edition video. So what is this video going to be about? Well, as I've been doing these videos for the last few years, when it's the last weekend of the NFL regular season, we're going to go over the current playoff scenarios going into the last week, and we're going to go over the current 1 through 7 seeds, and as well as what it will happen in this year's edition. I will give you five of my predictions that I think is going to happen. So that's basically the agenda that's going to be for this video here. So I always make a good rule of thumb every time I do this video. Now keep in mind, as we're in the final weekend of the regular season and it's week 18, the number one cardinal rule that I always have that I would tell you people, keep in mind, my predictions are based on my opinions of what I think is going to happen and which teams will get the last playoff spots. There's still some division titles that are still up for grabs. And the number one rule that I always say is that anything can happen in week number 18. Most of my predictions might happen, but some things could change in week 18, and I may be wrong on a lot of things. So keep in mind, all of my week 18 picks are going to be posted on the description below if you want to know which teams are going to win their respective football games. So everybody ready? Because this is definitely going to be my longest video of all of the NFL season. And of course, I will be doing Super Wildcard Weekend and the rest of the NFL playoffs and all the way up to the Super Bowl as well. So without further ado, everybody, let's quickly go over now the current AFC 1 through 7 seeds and the NFC 1 through 7 seeds. Now, beginning in the AFC, currently right now going into week number 18. Tennessee is the number 1 seed. Kansas City is the 2nd seed. Cincinnati is the 3rd seed. Buffalo is the 4th seed. New England is the 5th seed. Indianapolis is the 6th seed. And the LA Chargers are currently the 7th seed. There's only 3 teams that are in the hunt right now to try to vie for 2 playoff spots. And that is Baltimore, Las Vegas, and Pittsburgh. They are the only teams now that are in the hunt for those last 2 playoff spots, because 2 playoff spots in the AFC have not been claimed yet. Now going over in the NFC, the Packers have already clinched the number 1 seed, so they're all right, have home field advantage. The LA Rams are currently the 2nd seed. Tampa Bay is the 3rd seed. Dallas is the 4th seed. Arizona is the 5th seed. San Francisco is the 6th seed, and Philadelphia is the 7th seed. Let's keep in mind on a couple things here going into the AFC as I give you the current scenarios of what is going to happen. Now, keep in mind, the AFC only has 2 playoff spots open because the Bengals, the Chiefs, and the Titans have already clinched their respective divisions. The AFC East is up for grabs still, but Buffalo and New England are the only 2 teams that can claim that division because they both have playoff berths. So no matter what the outcome is, one of them will win the division and the other one will be a wild card. So now, let's begin with Buffalo. Now, this is very easy for this part here. The Bills can win the division. They have to win their respective game, or the Patriots lose their game, or by some odd, weird miracle, Buffalo ties in their game and New England ties in their game. Yes, you heard that right. For New England to win the AFC East, of course, they have to win their respective game, and also the Bills have to lose their game, or just like Buffalo, New England can tie their game and Buffalo can tie their game, and the Patriots would still end up winning the AFC East that way. So that is the current. Now the weirdest thing here, going to talk about the number 1 seed. The number 1 seed is still up for grabs in the AFC. Now, if New England were to clinch the division, you have to keep in mind they have to win the division. They cannot. There's no way if they were to lose. If Buffalo were to win the division, then they can't claim the number 1 seed at all. If New England wins the division, they can still claim the number 1 seed by this miracle. They win their game, plus Buffalo loses or tie, plus Kansas City losing, plus Tennessee losing. That is the only way they're going to claim the number 1 seed. Yes, that is a weird scenario for that one. The Bengals have a shot at the number 1 seed. They could get that. They can get the number 1 seed. Of course, they have to win their football game, plus Tennessee lose, plus Kansas City lose, plus New England can lose or tie, or Tennessee losing, KC losing, and Buffalo winning. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs can claim the number 1 seed if they win their game, plus Tennessee losing or ends in a tie, or Kansas City ends in a tie, or Tennessee loses, and plus Tennessee losing that game. That's the only way the Chiefs can claim that number 1 seed. Now, the final playoff spots here. Now, I'm going to quickly go over a couple things here. Now, for right now, Indianapolis currently holds that number 6 seed. Now, they can clinch their playoff berth outright for that number 6 seed. They have to win their game, or they can tie, or LA Chargers lose, Baltimore, Pittsburgh ends in a tie, or Chargers lose, plus Pittsburgh losing, and Miami winning. That is the only way, though. Those are the 3 ways they can clinch a playoff berth for that, at least for the number 6 seed. Now, for Baltimore and Pittsburgh, now keep in mind, for Baltimore to get in, they have to win their game, plus LA Chargers lose, plus Indianapolis losing, and Miami losing. For Pittsburgh to get in, Pittsburgh has to beat Baltimore, plus Indianapolis losing, plus the key part here, Raiders-Chargers game cannot end in a tie. They cannot end in a tie, because if that happens, Pittsburgh's out. And of course, the big one, the last playoff berth between the Raiders and the Chargers here. Now, the Raiders, to get in, of course, they have to win their game beating the Chargers, or their game against the Chargers could end in a tie, plus Indianapolis losing, or Indianapolis losing and Pittsburgh losing, or tie. For the Chargers, it's plain and simple for them. They beat the Raiders or tie the Raiders, they're in. That is the only scenario the Chargers have. So that pretty much is your AFC. Now, the NFC is a little more clear now, and it's very, very simple. These are the only scenarios right now in the NFC. Now, Packers have already clinched the number 1 seed, so nothing comes into factor. Cowboys, Buccaneers have already clinched their respective divisions. The Cardinals, the Rams, and the Eagles have already clinched the playoff berth. There's only 1 spot up for grabs right now, and that's that last playoff spot, which really right now San Francisco holds the keys to that last spot. So, for the 49ers to get that last spot, they have to beat the Rams or tie the Rams, or New Orleans losing or tie. For New Orleans is the only other team that's in the hunt. For New Orleans to get in by a miracle, they have to win and San Francisco lose. That's the only way they're going to get in. And the last part that has the NFC West hasn't been claimed yet. So now, look. So whatever happens in these games here, either the Cardinals or the Rams are going to end up winning the division. For the Arizona Cardinals to win the West, they have to they have to win against the Seahawks, and the Rams have to lose to the 49ers. For the Rams to win the West, they currently hold the keys to the division title. They beat the 49ers or tie the 49ers, or the Cardinals losing or tying the Seahawks. That is the only way these 2 teams will claim the division, the NFC West division. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let me get into Now my predictions, opinions of what is going to happen here. Now I said there's 5. So let's begin with prediction number 1. The Bills will win the AFC East. They are playing the Jets. The Jets really have nothing to play for, and the Bills know they want that home field in that Super Wildcard weekend. I think the Bills beat the Jets. They will claim the AFC East. So there'd be no way of any talk that New England would have a shot at the number 1 seed. Prediction number 2. The Indianapolis Colts will beat the Jaguars because that's their opponent in the last week. And the Jaguars are a mess. I just don't see it happening. I don't see Jacksonville beating Indianapolis here. And given the fact that the Colts had a heartbreaking loss to the Raiders, they know they're going to be fired up for this game, and it's the Jaguars. But I think the Colts will get one of the last 2 playoff spots in the AFC. Prediction number 3. It's the game against the Chargers versus the Raiders. I'm predicting the Chargers beat the Raiders. Now, a couple things to keep in mind for this game here. Going over the injury list right now for the Raiders, it's a big list right now, and obviously they did take a small hit. We don't know if Jacobs is going to be ready for this game because the Raiders need the running game to be effective against the Chargers because that is the Chargers' weakness. And if the Raiders don't have a running game, I think they're in trouble. I think they're in trouble in this game. And look, the Chargers don't have that much in injuries, and a lot of the players are coming back from the COVID list. The Chargers are a little bit more healthier than the Raiders are. So I'm predicting the Chargers beat the Raiders to get the last playoff spot in the AFC. Prediction number 4. The 49ers will beat the Rams. The first meeting, the Rams had no answer for the 49ers offense and their defense. And Deebo Samuel has really started to make a name for himself in that 49ers team coming out of nowhere. He's really become a factor in the 49ers winning streak. And I think, to me, the Rams and Stafford continuing the struggles right now offensive-wise. They were barely fortunate to beat the Ravens last week. But I just think the 49ers are on a roll, and I think they'll bounce back from the loss against Tennessee. I think that the 49ers will clinch that last playoff spot, which means New Orleans will be out regardless. And speaking about the teams in the NFC West, the last prediction, I think you pretty much know where I'm going to go with this. Prediction 5, the Cardinals will beat the Seahawks. By beating them, they will clinch the NFC West. So there you go, my friends. That's it. That is basically my entire special edition video. Those 5 predictions of what is going to happen. So here are my final projected AFC and NFC 1 through 7 seeds for the playoffs. In the AFC, I'm projecting that Tennessee will be the number 1 seed. Kansas City, the 2nd seed. Cincinnati, the 3rd seed. Buffalo, the 4th seed. New England, the 5th seed. Indianapolis, the 6th seed. And the LA Chargers are the 7th seed. In the NFC, it'll be, of course, Green Bay already has the number 1 seed. Tampa Bay will move to the 2nd seed based on what I just mentioned. Arizona will be the 3rd seed. Dallas, the 4th seed. LA Rams will be the 5th seed. San Francisco, the 6th seed, and Philadelphia is the 7th seed. So there you have it. Those are my final projections for those are going to be my projections, your final AFC and NFC 1 through 7 seeds for the playoffs. All right, everybody, that's it. This wraps up my video. There will be a lot of text on the fly, so that way you don't get lost. I'm going to be working harsh on that. I know this video is late, because I had to really write all my notes down and be very clear on the playoff scenarios here. So yeah, like I said, this is one of my least favorite videos because we're going over the playoff seedings and all that, and I know you could just look on the internet based on what is going to happen. So that's it, my friends. So next week, we start the playoffs, and I will begin my first video with Super Wildcard Weekend. So let's enjoy the NFL season finale, guys. And I'll talk to you guys next week when we talk about Super Wildcard Weekend. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you guys next week. Enjoy the NFL season finale. Enjoy your football weekend.